Hello everybody, welcome back to Paradox Gamer's channel. I'm Paradox Gamer, thank you for joining me here. This is Field of Glory 2, a new game developed by Byzantine Games, however you want to pronounce that. Byzantine Games, you can also say. And published by Slytherin, so this is the follow-up to Field of Glory 1, which is a very old game. I can't even remember when it was published back in the days, but this game isn't the same style of the games you might know as Pike and Shot and Sengoku Jidai, so it's the same kind of engine that they use here. And of course this is a beta version. This is version 007, so this is in closed beta, and I have been granted the opportunity to showcase this game for you. I never actually played Pike and Shot, I have to admit that. I did play Sengoku Jidai when it came out, so my knowledge about the game mechanics is, let's call it so-so, but it's okay. Anyway, my plan for this series is to play all the campaigns. As you can see, there are several campaigns. I'm just gonna load up the screen here so you can see we got Rise of Rome campaigns, Julius Caesar, Hannibal, Mithridates of Pontus, and Pyrrhus of Epirus. I'm gonna go through all of those. I'm not gonna launch here, because what I'm gonna do first, before we get into the campaigns, is to take the tutorials. Normally I would never do that. I would just play through the tutorials at my own leisure, and then I would showcase the actual campaigns. But these tutorials are so well made. I've done the first one when I got the game just to check it out. It's really well done, so it's actually worth to play them, and let's play them here on YouTube. So let's just load up the first one. Here we go. This is the tutorial screen. We got 3 tutorials. Britain 54 BC, Sicily 277 BC, and Italy 218 BC. And in the first one we are playing the ancient British against the Romans, and the other is the Pyrrhic against the Carthaginians, and Carthaginians against the Romans. Right, so we'll just start with the first one here. Is a scenario set in Britain in 54 BC, I believe. This is where Britain actually invaded. They did go to Britain before that and got repelled out. Let's see what it says here. The first tutorial scenario will show you the basics of the game. Duke Caesar's second invasion, now there we go, it's the second invasion of Britain in 54 BC. A force of Cantiaci engages a Roman detachment under Marcus Quintilius Rufus. You are Carthaginian, leader of the Cantiaci. So we're actually playing the British here. I'm going to accept that. It's going to load up. And we get to the first game. I've played this one once. And let's just read it out here. Repelling the invaders, southeast Britain in 54 BC. The objective is to either rout the enemy army by routing at least 40% of their troops and 25% more than you have lost, or routing 60% of their troops. Ancient British turn 1. Repelling the invaders. You are Carthaginian, leader of the British Cantiaci. The Roman legions are tough and would probably beat our warbands in a frontal fight on level ground. However, we have numbers on our side and can use the steep hill to our advantage. So, our chariots are no match for the Roman legions or cavalry in a frontal fight, but they will be very effective for attacking the Roman flanks. Perhaps we should soften them up with our slingers and light javelin horse before engaging them in close combat. Try to concentrate shooting against 1 or 2 units rather than spreading it evenly. Flank charges are most effective when the enemy is already engaged in close combat. To qualify as a flank charge, the charging unit must start its whole move behind the enemy flank. So we do get in the tutorial here, we get some hints and ideas about what would be a good thing to do. And I'm going to start by reading out these things, and if we get repeated messages, I will just close them off. So when it When it's the start of your turn, a fanfare sounds. The enemy turn icon in the top right hand corner of the screen disappears and is replaced by the end turn button. And the wrath behind the end turn button flashes gold. It's now our turn. Right. Camera controls, I will not bore you with that. I got that already. And issue orders, you just left click. When you mouse over unit, information will appear. So, okay, so here we got, because I hovered over the warband loose, we got a little description here. Warband loose order are on a hill. While they are on a hill, they will have a close combat advantage against any enemy on lower ground. If the height difference is 75 or less, the advantage will only be slight, but if it's more than 75, it will be substantial. And if I hover over one of the others, what is this? This warband is in unsuitable terrain and are moderately disordered. Their fighting ability is moderately impaired, but they will recover immediately when they leave the terrain. It's the guys in the forest here. Alright, let me just turn it around a little bit. So what we see here is the order of battle. The Romans are up here, and these are light javelin men in front. As we can see here, javelins are short-range weapons which can only shoot at units in an adjacent square. After 5 turns of shooting, ammunition will be low as the unit begins to scavenge the battlefield for spent ammunition, reducing its shooting power by half. These light javelin men are primary skirmishers, but the javelin gives them the edge over light infantry armed with slings or bow in the impact phase of the close combat. They will usually attempt to evade from charges by heavier troops unless the enemy are too close for them to escape. Even if they do evade, there may be a chance of being caught. So light foot can pass through friendly units from front to back or back to front. So I got the slingers and they got the javelin men. And then we got the legionaries. The legionaries of the late Republic are well trained, experienced and well equipped with mail shirts, large shields, pilum and sword. Or pilum, I think is actually the way to say that. They are capable of defeating any other infantry of the era. At impact, a volley of heavy pila is followed by the legionaries evading in their short stabbing swords. Evading in should be. This makes them very hard to resist. As heavy foot, they are disordered by rough terrain and severely disordered by difficult terrain. So we gotta see if we can use that to our advantage. When on the offensive, legionaries will follow up pushed back enemy foot. There's also the cavalry here, comprised of noble and the retainers. Gallic cavalry can be relied upon to fight well. They are effective in close combat against other cavalry or light foot, but not in frontal combat against heavy or medium foot. Against these, their ideal tactic is to attack the flank or rear of the foot while they are already engaged in close combat to the front. So, attacking in the flank with the cavalry, yeah, it's what we already know, right? So although not primarily skirmishers, cavalry armed with light spear will evade charges if they feel outmatched and are far enough away from the enemy to stand a high chance of escaping. Like all cavalry, they will usually pursue routed enemy for one or more turns and may charge fresh enemy they meet along the way. So we can also zoom in and out. These the graphics is kind of nice. I think this is not Total War, but if you're watching this, you're probably not that interested in Total War anyway. So that's why we can also pan around like this. So yeah, we got all the camera angles like we want them. Can have them like we want them. The terrain is also very important in the game. This is a hill, for example. If you occupy the high ground and the enemy is on the low ground, you'll have an advantage. Woods are difficult terrain and will severely disorder mounted elephants and heavy foot. We know these guys are heavy foot, right? I think so. Let's get all the panels up here. There we go. Right, so I think it's our turn. So what we got here is the slingers in front, 5 of those. Behind we have actual warband, 4 of those units. And then over here we got the chariots, Celtic, 3 on either side. And then we have some light javelin horse over here on the far left. And the enemy's got also Gallic cavalry to either side and 4 infantry in the back and the javelin men in front. So I believe if I can get up front and get my units stationary on the hill. Let me just read the tribesmen first. These tribesmen rely on a volley of javelins and a fierce charge to disrupt their enemies. The deep formation adds impetus to their charge. They are unmaneuverable, but their loose formation allows them to fight in rough terrain without disadvantage. When on the offensive, they will follow up pushed back enemy foot owing to their high aggression and lack of discipline. They will always pursue enemy foot if they rout them. I think these descriptions are really well done. See, we can get into the woods hill, so we can't get to the front of the hill. What if I pick this guy? When you select the unit formation about that unit, it appears in the bottom left of the screen. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we cannot get to the front of the hill, unfortunately. But that's fine. We'll just move them up a little bit. Oh, I have to right click. There we go. Also, move these guys forward. And this is actually our general unit. I think I want to keep that behind for a little bit. So what I could do, I could just move them up here behind and then move them into the woods in the following turn. Either that, or just move them up behind. I guess that's fine. So this is a general. There is a general with this unit. You can turn on his command range display using the right hand tools menu or the 3 hotkey. A general can transfer to another unit in line of command up to 4 squares away once per turn. He cannot do so while the unit is in close combat, pursuing or routing. So moving a general will not affect the command status of his units until the next turn. Now let's get him in there. So we are not disrupted, if I am correct. I think we are disordered. Yeah, disordered from the woods. But that will go away as soon as we leave the woods. So here we have a description of the chariots. Obsolete throughout mainland Europe, chariots are still in extensive use by the Celtic nobles of the British Isles. Prized more for their mobility than their fighting power, they would not fare well in a frontal charge against Roman legionaries or Gallic cavalry. However, they should be effective if used for flank attacks. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I can move them over here actually, and they can even turn like that. So these guys, I'm just gonna move them over here and over here. This unit is in command range. This is indicated by its square being shaded. Units that are out of command range don't have shaded squares. These are all going to be out of command. Aren't they out of command? Yeah, anyway, over here. So we gotta be careful of the Gallic cavalry over here. I don't want my barbarian light javelin horse to be caught by these guys. So what I'm actually thinking about is simply moving them around as far away as possible, like that. Okay. The Romans are unimpressed by British cavalry, who are very lightly equipped and mounted on rather small ponies. Just get that straightened up. Nevertheless, they are quite capable of skirmishing in support of the chariots. Yes? Alright. What did it say here exactly? This is indicated by its square not being shaded. Yeah, this square is not shaded. I can see that here. We're gonna bring the chariots out to the side, because they're only effective when they are flanking the enemy. So just gotta get them out of the way, and they'll bring them back into the flank. Now, we still got the slingers. Slings have a range of 2 squares. While lacking the range of bows, slings can nevertheless be very effective. After 5 turns of shooting, ammunition will be low, as we already read with the other guys. Like other light foot slingers will not usually attempt to stand when charged by heavier troops, but will use their mobility to evade the charge. Of course, they might be caught. And light foot can pass through enemy units. Most units exert a zone of control. I can explain that along the way. We have a zone of control right in front of us. So these guys are out of range right now. So I need to move forward 1 in order to hit these guys. And I would like to get in the first shot. So I'm going to go up here. And then I'm going to send a volley of stones into their ranks. They lost 15 guys. So when a unit suffers casualties, these are displayed above the unit, usually in yellow. However, if a unit loses a round of close combat, the losses are shown in red. Losing a round of close combat or suffering significant casualties from shooting will trigger a cohesion test, which is basically a morale test. If the unit fails this test, its cohesion will drop. When a unit has lost sufficient casualties, some of the men that depicts the unit will die. Also, the banner will become progressively damaged. So 15 damaged over there. Let's see, so they went from 240 guys to 225. Not a big deal, but okay. Let's bring these guys forward to here. And then we can also fire over here by turning, or we can turn and fire, or we can just fire with half strength. Let's see, your unit can shoot at this enemy unit. No, I think it's actually, yeah, it's half arc of fire here. So it's better to turn if you have the ability to do that. Let's turn them around and take a shot. So they disrupted the enemy unit actually. Let's just read that. Light javelin men have just suffered a cohesion state drop to disrupt it. This is displayed by a partial loss of formation and a yellow stripe across the top of the unit banner. The morale and cohesion are impaired. They will fight at somewhat reduced effect. The casualties they have suffered will further reduce the fighting ability. There's a chance each turn that they may rally to steady. Alright. So that was pretty good. We have disrupted one of the javelins. Let's see if we can do the same. I'd have to move over here though. And then turn and fire on these guys. Only 5. Now these guys have to be careful because I think the Romans can move up too. So they will be able to engage these guys in close combat. I think these guys will remain here. That's probably the safest thing. Then we have these guys, more slingers. They could either stay or they can move up in front here. Remember, they can pass through my own units if I need to do that. So I'm going to bring the slingers up the hill. And they don't have enough to turn, so they will just stand right there. Let's end the turn and see how the Romans react to that. I have to hit confirm. So these guys move up, don't do much damage. The other slingers, or the other javelin men, they're actually charging. So barbarian slingers are attempting to evade the charge. There's a chance they will be caught in the rear by the chargers. If they escape but leave the battlefield, they may be or may not return later. So they successfully evaded behind the lines, and so did my other guys over here. And now the Romans are coming forward. The legions. Also the cavalry is coming through. So now it's my turn again. So these guys did not disrupt or anything, they just evaded, so they're now behind the lines. This cavalry unit up here is dangerously close to my unit and will have a huge disadvantage. We can see here, if I attack, let me just see what the odds are. So what we can see here is on impact, I have a chance, 53% chance of winning, 47 draw, and only 1% to lose. And the upcoming melee after the impact is the same or slightly better odds than that, 56. So it's not really good odds, but what I want to do is I want to bring these guys around so they are ready for a charge. Yeah, these guys can go over here. but not turn. I'll move these guys around this way. And then let's move these guys up here. And if I can turn them, no, I cannot turn them. So I might as well just move them up further one more. Now, I could just fire on these guys first. I have to turn though, because I'm facing the other direction. So I'd have to turn a little bit and take a shot. So that's only half effect, but still 16 losses. Let's see how that affected. How does that affect the charge here? The impact is now lower, 40%, but the melee is slightly higher. I think we will engage them. Okay, so they evaded. And now I'm off the hill. And it's his turn next time. I should have... Now these are the things you need to consider in this game. It's actually a very tough game. That if the enemy units are evading, where will I end up? And in this case I ended up off the hill with the Roman legion ready to attack me next turn. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move back on the hill. Can I move backwards though? No, they are turning around. That's alright. And then I'm gonna hit these guys. 11. I can zoom in a little bit more if you want to see more here. Now these guys made it up the hill, but I think they're gonna have to move through to the other side because my infantry needs to get up the hill instead. So they're basically just gonna go over here if I can hit the right button, and they can't see anybody now. Can they turn? No. Okay, so let's get the general forward 1 hex, which is not a hex, it's actually a square. And I'm not going to charge these light javelin men because they will run away and then I'll be running off the hill. Instead, I'm going to move these guys forward as well. And is this a charge? Yeah, it would be a charge, yeah, so I'm not going to attack them. Let's see, what's interesting here is this. I'm gonna move these guys over here, ready for flanking. Over there. Over there. And then we have the cavalry, which can move all the way over here. And they're going to be useful later. So this cavalry here is interesting. I could fire at full effect on them. Casualties 10 to 36. I find it very important to get rid of their cavalry so that my chariots and light cav can move around freely behind the backs. These guys, I'm thinking about just moving them up the hill here. Can always move them back because I don't want to engage the Roman legions like that in the open. Can I not move up there? I can only turn then, or I can move back 1 hex. Probably better to just stay put then. What about these guys? These are slingers that I will put up in the middle here. And I can actually hit these guys as well for another 5. And I think that's it. Let's see, unmoved unit. These guys are the only one, and I don't think I want to move up here because that'll be bad. So I'm just gonna stay there and end the turn and see how the Romans are faring. Okay, so they're moving up the hill and evading my slingers. And they're throwing the javelins at me. Not very effective though. No disruption or anything, and it's my turn. So these cavalry did not move, which is a little bit strange. So the question is, can I hit them on the side? I could. Let's try that. Impact 13% win, 30% loss, and after the impact is 42% loss. That's probably not a good idea then. Now these guys are gonna hit the enemies here. Not a lot of impact on that. What about this? Is right in the front though. How would that fare? Pretty badly as well. Yeah, the cavalry coming over here was not part of the plan. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna focus on the infantry. These guys are gonna hit the Romans. And these guys are also gonna hit the Romans. And then these guys will move up to here and also hit the Romans. And then we're gonna... these guys can't turn, but they could impact these guys. Yeah, so what that happened that I was fearing. Now they're charging the Romans. I'm still on higher ground though. That actually disrupted the Romans. Let me just see here what happened. Points of advantage, POA, a warband, had plus 200 for impact foot, and deep impact foot plus 9. Uphill was plus 100, and the general 50. And the Romans got 200 for impact foot, and troop quality 50. So we had better POAs, plus 109 in our favor. That equals to 34%. So I think we were a bit lucky there actually. And our units are actually continuing to move up, which is not the best thing ever because we got Romans right next to. And they're off the hill now as well, but let's try and push these guys off as well. And the same thing will happen here. No, we are not charging any further. But we're still on the hill slightly though. And then over here. Already shot off for melee. I'm gonna put my infantry up here. I can't turn though. Now these guys will continue to shoot at the cavalry, and that actually disrupted the enemy as well. Now I'm not playing on a low setting here, in case you wondered about that. Where's the settings button? Where's the settings? Toggle briefing. Okay. I'm on skill level 3 if I recall correctly. So this is not because the enemies are very weak. Let's see how this impact now fares. Now we can see that in the following melee, if you look at the bottom there, I'm no longer 41% chance of losing, it's only 5. I actually got a better chance of winning. So let's go ahead and charge here. And we are charging further in, and they are evading again. So these guys are gonna come over here ready for a charge, and the same goes for these guys. also ready for a charge next turn. So we're still back to here. They are on the hill, which is... I was supposed to be the guys on the hill. So maybe we could charge these guys over here instead. And they're already disrupted. Or we could charge... No, we can't reach the Gallic cavalry, which is a bit shame. What happens if I go up here? Not much. Have they all shot? I think so. Yeah, we still got the cav up here, and they are gonna... They're just gonna come around like that. One of them goes up there, and this one can't really fire at anybody, but we can keep him close by here. And then we have these guys over here. Attacking these guys is probably not gonna work, no. So we knew that already. And what if we go over here with one of them? And over here with the other. And then just move back. Alright, so if you fall back as a chariot, you have to take a cohesion test. But I did pass it. So they're okay. Alright, let's end the turn. Confirm. We got some melees, do we? No, I don't think so. So the Romans are just... what are they doing? Yeah, we do have a melee here with the general. And they are taking heavy losses, the Romans, if you can see here. Our casualties 8 and the enemy casualties 32. Enemy unit fragmented. Very nice. This is not the way I planned this battle, I have to say. I wanted to stay on the hill and fight off the Romans, but now I'm just charging in left and right, and the Romans are crumbling. I wonder if I can charge these guys right in the flank. How would that fare? The impact would be nice, 24%. And then if I just stayed there and fought it out, I would probably die. So I need to engage them first. I wonder if these guys can handle that. If I move them up here, if I charge them from this side, I will be on the top. Before I do that though, I'm gonna slingshot these guys some more. And some more. And actually if I move up here they will be in big trouble. Let's move the guys forward and then slingshot there. Yeah, we can see they're losing guys. And then we're gonna charge them here. How would that fare? Pretty good actually, pretty good odds. Let's do that. Impact, nothing happens. But now I forgot one thing. I was supposed to now flank them with the chariots in the back. But that's gonna have to wait until next turn because my my slingers are now in the way, obviously. So let's just move them forward to here. And these guys, they can turn. And what are they supposed to do? I think I'm gonna make them turn this way. We do have the enemy cavalry in the back, so that's a bit dangerous. But I can pretty much take out these guys next turn. That should not be a problem. Unless the enemy cavalry goes haywire on me. So over here, it's time to first fire on these guys. And then fire again with these guys. Just to give them some losses. and then unfortunately we cannot attack because we are in the zone of control of these Romans up here. So I can either attack them, or I can turn myself around. So let's wait a little bit with that. The enemy cavalry is here. I don't think that's gonna work. That's not too bad actually. Let's do it. Charge. And nothing happens. But they are engaged. We also have this one coming from the other side. Now let's charge these guys already in... they're already fragmented and already in melee. So that should probably have quite an effect. Yes, 50% chance for a win. Roman legionaries just took a cohesion test but passed. They will take some casualties though. They're in quite dire straits here. We also have these guys. And I think I'm just gonna turn them. No, they're just gonna stay put. If they can just keep these cavalry over here, then that would be nice. How would a charge on these guys fare? 28, 68, 5. No, that's not good enough. I do need to be close to get my archers in though. So let's move down here and then turn this way. Maybe I have to be really up close. I'm not sure about that. Let's try and move in there. Oh, the target is in close combat, that's why. So let's fire up here then. Right. Now these guys. What is the range of these guys? I'm not sure. It's probably 2. Let's try and move over here. Let's see if I can fire on these guys. No, I'd have to go closer. And now we can. Not a lot happened. These guys are at full strength. I'm just gonna stay on the hill, I think, this turn, and hope things develop nicely on the other side of the hill so I can divert forces over here, because we really don't have anything to do here. The charge here will not end successfully. I will turn though. Ready? And then get these guys over here. And turn. Ready for a charge. And ready for a charge. So I think that's it for the turn. So these guys will stay put. Everybody else has moved. End the turn. We still have the ongoing melee over here. I think we're gonna rout the enemy units soon, but they held firm for this turn. Now it's the Romans. We can see they're firing the javelins. The cavalry is moving over here. And then the melee continues. And this time I think we did it, yeah. So the Roman legionaries have just suffered a cohesion state drop to broken. This is displayed by a complete loss of formation and the unit banner turning white. Their morale and cohesion are broken and the men are fleeing for their lives. They may possibly rally if they outdistance pursuit, but until then they cannot fight. Any friendly unit adjacent square at the moment a unit breaks may also suffer morale. This is important. Let's see if anybody else suffers morale drop. I do pursue them and run right into their slingers, sorry, the javelins, and a melee ensues, which breaks the enemy. And we have another melee down here, which is still continuing. And a melee over here, which breaks the enemy cavalry. This is going way over expectation, I think. So the light javelinmen have broken before contact, and the chargers will pursue for this turn only. Alright, we've just broken 3 or 4 enemy units, and they're routing off. Yeah, there we go. The enemy has lost heart, you are victorious. That was actually enough. I didn't have to engage these last legionnaires over here, I just needed to rout the other guys off the map, and that happened. Yeah, as you can see, I am on difficult 3, which is Legate. So it was not like we were down here. This was actually a pretty decent win. Here's the final losses. The Romans took 42% casualties, which was enough if you remember the victory conditions. 40% and I take 25% less. I think those are static numbers. So 25, it's 42 minus 25 basically. And I only took 2% losses actually, so I won with that modifier. Alright. And that's it for the first tutorial battle. I'll be right back in the next episode with the second tutorial battle. Thank you guys for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, this is a beta game. It will be released soon. I don't have the exact date right now. If I get it in one of the subsequent videos, I will of course say it. More information is in the description box on how to get the game and so forth. So I hope this teaser was enough for you to continue to watch this series and also to buy the game once it comes out if you fancy this kind of battle. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.